construction plans and where they were about 3/4 done. I got the details, and I was astonished.
Who was this?
It was a guy from the San Jose construction design, a civil engineer, and he gave his overview of step by step road, street by street going down.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that all the sidewalks are going to be done. The street is going to be completely torn up. Newer sewer lines are going to be street lights and traffic lights, and all this is very nice. But I'm really wondering, is this the thing that we, in this time, the city really should be spending its money on? Lots of other issues. The public safety building is something that we don't have, we need.
Yeah.
And the garages, I think, are important too, which is what I wrote about in my letter to you. I think that's a priority. And I was just surprised at how extensive that it is. And before then, I had been to a number of the meetings that the city staff had describing the changes which are now implemented in terms of just in lanes. And the neighbors, some of them, a little bit upset about it. But a lot of traffic, there's a tremendous amount of traffic there in the morning if you've been on El Camino there. The council has talked about putting an ordinance to stop the greenhouse, people idling the cars to stop greenhouse gases.
There's been discussion about that.
How much greenhouse gas is being generated by people just sort of idling in the traffic. And another issue about that project is the fact that in the not too distant future, we're going to have to deal with digging that road up again when we're dealing, start wrestling seriously with the Caltrain overpass or underpass. What's going to happen there? And that's really where the city needs to put some reserve. That's a fundamental problem. It's not something which is in the category of making it nicer and attractive and pretty and beautification, and a little bit improved safety for the bicyclists. Many of the bicyclists, by the way, I drive by there almost every day. I go to the gym in the morning, I go to school. Many of the cyclists are coming from the other side of the street, go on Maybell, and the city is planning to have a bike boulevard.
I bike on Arastradero every day to school. That's my route to school.
You don't go on Maybell?
I don't like Maybell because I feel like there are too many stop signs.
Stop signs?
Yeah, there are too many stop signs there, and it's just that during it's just too packed. There's just too many bikes there.
Too many bikes. Well, they're making it into a bike boulevard.
Yeah.
The idea is to make it more
The
friendly
road
for
is just not wide enough to have two cars side by side and then bikes on both sides. Since bikers, when they go to school, they don't just ride single file. They're like next to each other. So it's just a big mess, and I just avoid it by going Arastradero.
Well, that's true. I mean, there is an issue that when motorists see kids going to school 3 or 4.
I feel safer biking on Arastradero.
Oh, okay. Do you think it would be safer to you know what's going to happen if they do a reconstruction on Arastradero? It's going to be closed for a year or two.
Really?
Because they're going to be digging it all up. In addition to which, there's a plan that you should really look at to make a bike boulevard on Arastradero. You live down near Ross?
I don't.
What they've done on Ross?
Yeah,
on Ross Boulevard, they've converted a 2-lane street into something which is much more amenable for bicyclists and for cars, to slow down cars.
We just had a big meeting last week on that.
So I know there are a lot of residents who don't like that, but that's really going to make that road, Maybell, if they do something about it, a lot safer for bicyclists to be on. So, I mean, okay, we have different views about that. I think I don't know if you were aware of what the Arastradero was like before they made it.
Yes, my parents have told me it was like two lanes on each
Two
road.
lanes on each side. And for bicyclists, it's really as dangerous almost as going on El Camino, which I think if they were to try to do a bike lane on El Camino, which some people are talking about,
it'd be very nice.
Very crazy.
What do you think about bike lane on El Camino?
I think it's crazy. I would never go on El Camino on a bike lane. I go on Park Boulevard, or I go on. I go to Stanford, which I bike a lot too. I go on Hanover Street to the research.
That's what I do.
So I mean, when I see sometimes people bicycling on not young people, but people, working people, and I think they're taking the lights in their hands. Some of them don't have very good lights in the evening. At nighttime, they don't have lights on their back. They don't necessarily wearing helmets or reflective gear. So I think that's a concern.
And people run through stop signs all the time, and bikers on their phones and all that stuff. It's not safe.
Well, Yeah, I've been involved in the cycling issue in terms of, telling one of your interns on the Park path.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We put signs have gone up, the staff has put signs up, and that was an effort that was involved a committee of the Barron Park Association and the city staff.
What do the signs say?
The signs say, slow down
Oh.
and make yourself call out before passing.
Hmm.
And there's also a speed limit. There's supposed to be an ordinance that is being drafted that's going to come to the city council, which will put a 15-mile-per-hour speed limit on for bicyclists on all shared paths, not just this one, but other shared paths. Such an ordinance exists in San Jose. If you go on Boulevard, if you cycle on Susan Street, it says 15 miles per hour.
Maybe I'm a slow biker, but I don't think I can bike faster than 50 miles an hour.
Or if you come from Gun down on that path, there's a hill that comes down.
Oh, I see.
And
Yep.
if you know
On Arastradero or on?
from Gun coming down Strawberry Hill, it's called
Oh,
Strawberry Hill,
okay, yeah.
alongside the VA.
Yeah.
And
You can go pretty fast on
you
that.
can go pretty fast
Yeah.
down that hill. And
Yeah.
there are a lot of people, older people, infirm people, people walking dogs. We don't have sidewalks in Barron Park. And a lot of, if you go out there almost every weekend, I walk with my wife almost every late afternoon. There are people walking their dogs. There are people coming and talking and chatting. Groups of people walking.
Yeah.
Cyclists. The whole idea was that many people registered their concerns, their fear of getting in an accident,
Yeah.
somebody hitting them, driving in the back.
Yeah.
They felt that they were targets. They needed to have, a circle with a line across the same. Don't hit me or
I see.
something. So I
It
think
shouldn't be like that.
it shouldn't be like that. I wear those little clip-on
Yeah, I have
glasses so I
a-
can see
yeah.
something behind me.
Yeah, I have that too.
I wear usually when I'm walking, not when I'm walking,
I use it when I bike.
because I'm worried if a bicycle is coming behind me. I'm going 3 or 4 miles per hour. They're going 20 miles per hour. I get hit. And it was just the idea of putting these signs on to allow some kind of awareness amongst the biking community, not just to stop anybody from biking. We're happier to have many more people are biking than there used to be on the path. They're coming to work, they're coming to Stanford, come to the research park, there are people going to school, back and forth. And it's great, but you've got the donkeys there, and you've got kids looking at the donkeys, and you've got people walking their
Yeah,
dogs.
I take my kids to see the donkeys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know that path
And
is
they had
great.
chickens and stuff.
The chickens there.
Yeah.
There's a park right nearby.
Yeah.
And there was I think I raised awareness of the city staff by finding out that there had been an accident, a very, very serious accident in a shared path in Marin County, which was like this one, was the wrong side of the path. And there were a couple of kids who were going to soccer practice. They were running across the path, not paying attention to cyclists. This woman cyclist was going at an excessive speed and she hit the kids.
Oh, wow.
One of the kids suffered brain damage.
Oh,
She,
yeah.
3 of them ended up in the hospital.
For one biker?
Yeah.
From one
I
bike.
did one bike.
One
hit all of them.
bicyclist. And then after that, there
Whose
was a
fault
big
was it?
effort in Marin County on this path. That's just north of the Colgate Bridge, or up that way. And they put a big, these light limits that they have on the street, the not speed posting limit. They put that there, and they had people actually, police coming out there, signs. It raised a lot of.
No, actually, now that you mention, I was at the new 49ers stadium, and they have a parking lot, and then there's a bike path that goes between the parking lot and the stadium. So I thought it was really interesting, but they would actually have crossing guards at the bike crossing, like where you go from the parking lot to the stadium. They have a crossing guard, and there's like not many bikers. At least the time I was there, there's like only one biker every 10 minutes or so, and so yeah, I thought well, that's kind of weird, right? And it's like there's so few bikers, right? And why come there's a crossing guard there? Like I guess for that reason, that's interesting.
So, well, it has
So
happened.
someone got brain damage through being hit by a biker.
Yeah,
like
9-10-year-old kid.
Three people got
3 people were into the bicyclist herself,
okay.
and these 2 kids ended up in the hospital, and one of them suffered overdose.
Terrible.
Now, this was about 2013
Yeah.
or 14.
I have like a little bell to like alert people, right?
That's what I have on my bicycle.
Yeah.
I have a little bell. I always say under left or
Yeah.
left,
Yeah.
and slow down when you're going. And it's just a question of courtesy that many people do, but I would say that there's maybe 10% of the cyclists are they're out there after work doing their fitness, you know, and it's not a path that is designed for that.
You know, the path that I think is kind of interesting is, you know, like I think so. Like for me, when I go home, I live in College Terrace,
Mhm.
so when I go home, I bike down to like where the boat park area is,
Mhm.
and then you know that I don't know what the path is called, but it's like it goes around behind those buildings to Hanover.
Mhm.
You know that bike
Yeah.
trail.
Mhm.
You know that sharp turn.
Mhm.
There's like a really sharp turn. It's like a blind turn almost, right?
Oh
They
yeah, I
put
know
a
what you're
mirror
talking about.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They put a mirror
it's like
there now.
90 degrees.
Yeah, it's like 90 degrees, right?
It's more than 90. They put a mirror there so that you can see around the corner.
Oh, okay. I don't even remember seeing the mirror. You guys ever seen the mirror?
What was it? New? Was it newly placed?
Newly Place is part of this whole signage that's
Oh,
on the ballpark
I'll
path.
go
If
look
you've
at
been
it.
on that path, you'll see signage that
Yeah.
will say, pull out before
Yeah.
passing, the speed limit.
Oh, what I do is I
and
ring my
no
bell before I hit that turn, right? Just to kind of alert people. But I've seen so many mirror misses there.
It would really be nice if you notice that you're going towards the College Terrace on
Yeah.
that path. There's a gate or a big heavy obstacle
Mhm.
that part of the fence, and that gate, if that were not there, it would be a very nice path that one could go straight through in between, on the very end parking lot,
Yeah.
and then end up on what is this?
Hanover?
Not Hanover, the other street. That then goes down to El Camino. It goes right in front of CPI.
Oh, that one. Yeah, I know
Yeah,
that.
so we go in between the law offices and Varian, but Varian, it's their property and it's their parking lot.
Yeah.
And,
They've actually shut down the
that used to be the
on
tree.
where Princeton is, right? Princeton. It would go through. Right now there's some construction, so they shut down. You can't go through anymore. Right.
Yeah. Well, usually when I go around that sharp turn, I just go really slowly, right, and then
Yeah.
you can look around.
I actually get off my bike.
Yeah,
You do?
there's
Oh, yeah.
you're-
It's really
responsible.
scary.
It's scary. Yeah. it
There's a
is.
lady down our street, I live on Chamales, she's 93.
Uh-huh.
She first moved here, there was a train that would go from Los Altos down on
Yeah.
this path.
Oh yeah, the fry site, right?
And we'd go to the fry site,
Yeah,
and it
yeah,
would go right down that site,
Yeah.
right through where that gate is, where that
Uh-huh.
90-degree thing is, and down and then pass through where the McDonald is and across to the fry site. And
There's
so
another
she
blind corner. I go to Mitchell Park Library and then go through the Magical Bridge Playground, coming out from Charleston. There's a sharp turn. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. It's
Yes.
behind a Unitarian church.
Yeah. Mhm.
And I go there every week, and I just have to go really slow around it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I ring my bell just because like those blind
Yeah.
turns are kind of like
Annoying.
yeah. But I've seen like a couple people wipe
Just
out.
go slow, hand on your brake, right, and that's
Yeah. Yeah.
ready to squeeze it.
Yeah, so
I gotta look for. I didn't realize it was mirrors. I gotta
now
check it out.
they just put a mirror, yeah.
When did they do that? I never noticed it.
Well, I think it's probably about 2 months ago. I've been part of this committee that I mentioned, the Garden Park Association.
You should watch out for it,
Committee
Greg.
has been
Yeah.
working with Chris Correo and the
Yeah.
transportation staff
Okay.
to try to put some kind of signage plan. They have a plan, and we,
Ryan
Chris,
is responsible
he
and gets off his bike.
there was a big issue with that.
It's not a bad idea actually.
Yeah.
There was an issue there with the stops, there used to be chicanes. Cyclists were saying this is very dangerous, especially at nighttime. Cyclists were running into it. They removed the chicanes and they put stop signs there. Stop signs for the motorists, but not for the cyclists. The people who lived in Upper Matadero said, this is our only way in and out. You know?
Yep.
And there was actually, it turns out, there was an accident where a cyclist was hit by a motorist. So now they have changed that and they put four-way stop signs on. So it's kind of an ongoing activity, which I think has improved the safety of that, but at all decrease the usability or viability or convenience of that.
So sorry, yeah, we gotta get to our next thing. But Art, thank you so much for coming in.
Okay,
Thank you
well,
very much for coming.
Thank you
Really
very much.
appreciate it.
Nice meeting you.
Nice
Good
meeting
luck to you.
Nice
Yeah.
talking to you.
Yeah,
I didn't realize you actually got off the bike. That's actually
Yeah.
really interesting.
Go on the edge.
Yeah. No, I can see why. It's
It's scary.
yeah.